In Maximum City, Mumbai, citizens ask the civic body BMC to take a walk after the BMC takes over the iconic open space Joggers Park. Activists fear that the BMC is not equipped to manage the open space.
Separation is being done just for the sake of having a very comfortable time for the girl students as well as the boy students when they are within the canteen.
Bizarre, regressive government college diktat puts up a girls-only section in the college canteen. The principal says girls wearing trousers may have diminished urge to reproduce.
It's not a charge, it is the truth. No cadre in Tamil Nadu, no AIDMK cadre has accepted a leadership.
Drama over Sasikala Natarajan's coronation continues. Now, rebel AIADMK leader says Sasikala is unfit for the top job, alleges that Jayalalitha was physically harmed and her death was unnatural. While Sasikala's Kissa Kursi Ka takes center stage, parts of Chennai coast continue to be bleeding black with toxic oil slick. Magic Bricks, now the only channel to revisit the tarred beaches, finds that the cleanup drive, which will continue for several more days, is still being carried out with minimal protective gear. Hello and welcome. You are watching The Big Story here on Magic Bricks Now. I'm Krishna Kumar. In a rare instance of citizen activism, Bandra's residents have asked the BMC to literally take a walk. Mumbai civic body, the BMC, recently took over the iconic Joggers Park, but citizens are having none of it. They fear that the civic body is ill-equipped to maintain the lush green property. My colleague Aishwarya Paliwal caught up with some residents. Take a look at this ground report.
So Bombay as a city is already cramped. You do not see a lot of open spaces, and where I'm standing right now is Joggers Park, one of the open spaces which you can see in Bandra. Now, as I'm standing here currently right now, there are many people who are signing petitions just outside this garden. The reason why they are doing so is because they do not want the BMC to take over this open space. Last year in 2016, Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis said that he wants BMC to take over all the open spaces that were there within the city. The reason for this was that there were many complaints from citizens group of politicians taking over these places and many corrupt activities taking place there. The citizen group that is running Joggers Park in Bandra is saying is that the only reason why they do not want BMC to take over this place is because they know that the kind of maintenance that the trust is doing, the kind of cleanliness that you can see, the kind of safety that this park provides, all this will just vanish if BMC takes over. And that is the only reason why these citizens have come up and they have started a petition. Till date, they have received 8,000 signatures of all those people who come to this park daily. They are saying that once they reach a certain number of signatures, they will take this forward to the Chief Minister, asking him to either make this a public-private partnership or to stop BMC altogether from taking over this public space. They are hoping to get a meeting with the Chief Minister sometime next week.
I don't want this park to be taken over by the BMC because if anyone enters the park, be it drug addicts or chain smokers or anything, it will not be safe for the women to enter here and feel secure. Like, we come anytime in the night and we are all secure because the security, it's all around. So I think that will be a major issue.
If people start eating inside, there's no security, there are no guards checking what is happening inside. The park is going to lose all of its beauty. So it's one way I hope it doesn't happen, because we've been coming to this park since we were maybe 1 or 2.
And we have been coming here regularly. This park has been maintained so well. We've never had any problems, no unhealthy elements coming in and things like that. And this is what we are worried about now, that once the BMC takes over, anybody and everybody is going to come in. Our children are not going to be safe.
I've been coming here for the last 22 plus years. The biggest worry over here is that the maintenance will be very shoddy, and the second thing is we fear a lot of beggars and drug addicts who will take over the park, and eve teasing will happen and there will be no control over it.
Wherever they have taken over, they have not been able to maintain in the way they have been maintaining the things. You can see everywhere. See, Priyadarshini also now, see what is happening. So this is a very beautiful garden, and we are coming here for our health purposes, and this is the only garden in the whole suburb where we can go and do something like that.
There's no point, they are not capable of managing even the simple elementary things. In what way they are so fastidious to manage the gardens? Why? What are the reasons? Whether our NGOs are maintaining the gardens in a more efficient manner, in a more purposeful manner or not? Is there any particular reason to take over?
For the last 25 years, I'm very happy to say we've not had a single antisocial issue over here. We've not had any theft or anybody jumping in from the rocks into the garden. Very well maintained, very good security. Now, all of a sudden, because of the open space policy, we realized that they're taking it over from the trust, that is the Lokhandwala Trust, which was running it.
So whose park is it anyway? To take that big story forward, we're now being joined by Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, former CIC and an RTI activist. Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, thank you as always for taking time out to be with us here on the big story on Magic Bricks. Now, talk to us. I think Bandra's residents, the Joggers Park regulars have said it very clearly that they will have none of it because, you know, the BMC, you know, as somebody just recently said in that set of Vox Pops we paid out, you know, they can't do some of the elementary things. How can you expect them to safeguard an iconic place like Joggers Park? Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, has the BMC gone a step too far?
I think we need to take a holistic view of this. I can understand those who have been maintaining Joggers Park are very clear that they are maintaining it very well and they feel that it will deteriorate if the BMC takes it over. But let us look at the whole context of this. As long as there is a policy to create private interests in open spaces, which is what has been happening, and in the same policy, Joggers Park and many other clubs have been given to various parties. So long as this policy continues, private interests will get created and anybody from whom the park or open space is taken back will have a serious problem on it because they will have developed a kind of ownership over it. Also, very good organizations like the one managing Joggers Park or the one managing Old Maidan are feeling very hurt because for years they have nurtured this. But I would like them to consider one thing. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, nobody can guarantee what will happen to these trusts, what will happen to these organizations. And when you have public property of such a nature in the hands of private enterprise without paying any money, these are all already we are seeing various clubs coming up, and BMC has very devilishly not taken back the places from which are being privatized completely, but is attracting first those NGOs which are maintaining things very well. This needs to change. But though I understand the pain that my friends have who are running these trusts, I think in the long term we all must understand what belongs to the state, what belongs to BMC, belongs to the poorest man in this city, and third party interests cannot be created. That is flawed. But BMC is not doing it the way it should have. It should have taken back first those with political parties and then looked at these. Also, we've been proposing to BMC that they should have an audit by local NGOs, local bodies. And this audit must be considered as an official audit of the place and a monthly report should be given. If this is done, I'm sure we can maintain gardens and open spaces like we are. We can ensure that they not go into private hands, because that is really necessary in this situation.
Oh, absolutely, Mr. Gandhi. That these open spaces cannot go into private hands is very, very important. But even as you're telling us, you know, what's going to happen to the maintenance of Joggers Park 10 years from now, 15 years from now? I know we heard out some of the people at Joggers Park, some of the sound bites that we got, some of them have been coming there for the last 20 years, 22 years, 30 years, and they've had such a good track record of doing it, which means that it's not the same people who were maintaining it 30 years ago who are still doing it. You know, it's changed hands, but it still continues to be one of those pristine open spaces in Bombay, smack in the middle of Bandra, which is so very well maintained. So what is the harm? Why can't Joggers Park and many other places like that continue like that in the future as well? If they can do it for the last 30 years, I'm sure they can do it for another 30.
there is a difference between institutions and individuals or private parties, which we must recognize. And we must recognize certain fundamental principles based on which a society, a nation, government can work. Let me give you a simple example. If there is a very poor man in Mumbai with a one room to himself in a Jhopadpatti, if he cannot maintain it himself, will he give you the keys and say, okay, you maintain it and I'll give you a legal right over it? The answer is he will not. Lots of places that have been given earlier have got privatized, have been taken away, and the way our judicial system is, if people want to fight against giving it back, the judicial system is able to ensure that these properties do not come back. The question therefore is, do we adopt this as a principle, or do we say this organization is good and this is bad? How will you differentiate this? I'm not talking of Joggers Park. I'm conceding that Joggers Park is one of the best maintained places. But I repeat, it is not a guarantee that this will remain like this for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And if we want to go by this kind of logic, let's privatize the roads. BMC can't maintain my roads. BMC cannot lift my garbage. Let's privatize that as well. I think there is a flaw in understanding. There are certain functions that are best performed by the state. States' properties cannot be allowed to have third-party interests being created, because that would lead to impoverishment of the society as a whole. And this has been happening. In fact, a study of mine shows that there are leases of state lands which have expired, and yet the government is not able to do anything about them. And the state loses 3,000 crore rupees each year out of such leases where the state is unable to do anything. That is the message that we've got to learn from the history of Mumbai and the history of the state and our government.
All right, Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, that point is very well taken. We also have, a representative from Shiv Sena, Kishore Pendekar, set to join us soon. But for now, Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, it's a point very well taken. It cannot, the state needs to have the expertise to handle something like this. In the long run, for the benefit of everybody, all strata of society, it's important that it's a government authority that takes care of open spaces. But I have to ask you this. The way things stand, do you think that once Joggers Park gets into BMC's hands, what's going to happen to it?
What I have been proposing since a long time is that wherever they are giving it to private parties, these private parties must audit, and their audit should be considered as official audit. And if those who are responsible for maintenance do not perform, then action should be taken against them. Most of these maintenance is done through contracts, even by private parties. The same contractors can do the job, and the auditing can be done by citizens. In fact, it would be a very good idea to have audits of all open spaces being done by NGOs, ALMs, what have you, or even private trusts. And similarly, I believe roads, etc. can also be audited. The whole idea is BMC has to perform the function. Money must be spent by BMC so that no third-party interests get created, and the auditing is done by citizens. Just think carefully. If the same group that is today maintaining this garden is asked to audit the work, do you think they would refuse? I do not think they would refuse, because if there are honest intentions, there should be no problem. Whereas those with dishonest intentions will say, no, I want a certain right over this ground, this land, and this has been happening. I keep repeating, Joggers Park is an excellent way in which it has worked. But over a long term, nobody can guarantee this, my friend.
All right, Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, thank you so much for putting that development into a holistic perspective for us. So we understand that even as we are craving for more open spaces, craving for better maintenance of open spaces, there needs to be a long-term sustainable solution for that. And thank you so much, Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, for reminding us that right here on The Big Story on Magic Bricks Now. Moving on to a rather bizarre story. A college canteen with a rope in the middle to segregate the girls only and boys only sections. This is a bizarre reality in Mumbai, where a government-run polytechnic college in Bandra area has decided on gender segregation in its canteen to curb sexual harassment. The principal of the college has even stranger explanations behind this move. According to her, girls who spend more time with boys start behaving and thinking like boys, and therefore diminishing their natural urge to reproduce. The college authorities are not going to stop here. They're in fact planning to introduce a quote-unquote suitable uniform for girl students. My colleague Aishwarya Paliwal gets us all the details from the college in question in this report. Take a look.
In the Government Polytechnic College here in Bandra, the principal, Swati Deshpande, has stirred up a controversy when she decided to divide the canteen between sections where boys can sit, where only boys can sit, and sections where only girls can sit. This divide has been done by putting this rope in between. Now on my right hand side you can see the girls sitting, and on my left hand side are the boys sitting. This segregation, Swati Deshpande claims, has been done so that eve-teasing incidents get curbed down. Now I am going on to this side of the canteen where only girls are sitting, and what these girls are saying is that incidents of eve-teasing will not be curbed if you do such discrimination. What this will actually do is that it will provoke the boys to indulge in those kind of activities. There was another comment made by Swati Deshpande, and she said that she is looking at introducing salwar kameez as the official dress code for this college, as she does not want the girls who are currently dressing up in a similar way in which boys are dressing up in a white shirt and a black pant. Swati Deshpande, the principal of this college, does not want girls to dress up in a similar way. She is thinking of introducing salwar kameez, the traditional Indian clothes. Now we spoke to both the boys as well as the girls of this college, and what they are saying is that this will not stop incidences of eve-teasing, or this will, what it will actually do is that it will only increase this gender divide amongst both of them. What the girls are saying is that the mentality of the boys needs to be changed. There needs to be harsher punishment for those boys who do indulge in activities like eve-teasing. Aishwarya Paliwal for Magic Bricks now.
What has actually happened to avoid bit of eve-teasing within the campus area. Maximum time the students, they are going to meet within the canteen premises, and it's not at all about separating the girl student from the boy student in that context, what you are thinking, I mean to say, but it is just for the sake of separation is being done, just for the sake of having a very comfortable time for the girl students as well as the boy student when they are within the canteen.
When I went to the canteen, there is a rope which is dividing, but that does not stop the eve-teasing from happening, right?
Just let us have a step to segregate them, seating differently, at least within that particular premises. This kind of things, they should not happen. That's what was the thing. Otherwise, there is not a big, I mean to say, deal about separating the girl student from the boy students in that particular context.
So tell me, if eve-teasing happens in canteen, then what will the college do?
Within the canteen, if that has taken place and if the complaint comes to the principal or to the appropriate authority, whosoever is there in that particular day, then the necessary steps, because this kind of things, they have been happening earlier also.
Tell me the punishment that you will give to people who are doing this. What is the punishment that the college has in place if such kind of incidents happen?
Nothing like that. There are no strict, I mean to say, written rules about punishing the students for this and that. Depending upon, we call the parents and we try to make them aware about it and take the necessary steps not to allow again the similar kind of things to happen.
If there is an incident of eve-teasing, then what will the college do apart from just calling the parents?
Whatsoever the disciplinary action required, seeing to the grievance of the complaint and all that, will be taking.
Was consultation done before this before this step was taken?
There is a disciplinary committee, and probably they might have suggested, or madam has asked them that can this be, I mean to say, useful, will this be useful? Might have been, I don't know, because I am not there in that committee. That decision might have taken by the committee jointly, and they might have put a single rope. As such, the single rope is not going to serve any purpose.
Precisely our point, sir. Yes, precisely our point, that a single rope will not serve the purpose. If there has to be a device.
Show that my girl students, which should sit this side, boy students should sit this side, nothing more than that.
So in the end, will you stand by this divide? Will this divide be always there in the canteen?
No. I'm not saying that, because see, this decision basically has been taken by our principal, who is not here today. She has gone out on some work. She told me that since when she is not there, I have to look after the things. The decision has been taken. If we will also talk with the student representative and all that, if they take the necessary, they suggest the necessary other things, we want this way, that way. Definitely those decisions can be reverted.
Now, after this bizarre news spread, the principal of the Mumbai government-run Polytechnic College is nowhere to be found. In fact, her office in the college has also been locked. Aishwarya gets us this report from right outside her office. Take a look.
Magic Bricks now has been relentlessly trying to get in touch with Swati Deshpande, the principal of the Government Polytechnic College here in Bandra. She's not been picking up our calls, and we are here right in front of the room where she stays. But as you can see, there has been a lock which has been put in place. What the students are telling us is that she took an auto in the early hours of this morning and she left for somewhere. No one in the college knows where she is, and Magic Bricks now is trying relentlessly to get in touch with her to know what was the reason that she gave an order dividing the canteen between boys and the girls. But as you can clearly see, she is nowhere to be found within this campus.
In fact, we also tried getting some reactions of the college goers over there. Listen to what they had to say.
It's absolutely wrong, and such a thing from a educational institute and probably a pioneer in university, I don't think it should be continued.
Everyone has the equal right to live as given by the constitution and the government, so we should not create different rules for each of them, because if doing so, the girls may feel awkward in the society and their value or the status in the society would go down.
I think it's completely ridiculous that in the 21st century you are still segregating between boys and girls.
You should have an equal eye about everything, like boy, girl, it's a human, like after all it's a human, like you need to be equal about everything.
The only reason I think sexism is prevalent is because it is being imparted at such a young age. You are in college and you're being a victim to it. So I think as you grow, you're going to grow up with those ideologies.
We are living in a city which is very independent, and I think there should not be any restriction, because then you're just undermining the women in a certain way that the society doesn't actually work on.
It's just awful and it shouldn't be this way. It's really, honestly, the only thing that makes sense is it's so stupid and people need to stop being so dumb in life. Education is here, it's a tool for us to use and change mindsets of people, and if we're going to completely reverse the function that education can play in this society, then I don't see the point of it anymore.
Just say that on record. Sir, just one second.
I'll get the facts and come back to you.
Now, that was the last soundbite that we got from Maharashtra State's Education Minister Vinod Tawde, in which he said that he will get back to us after finding out the facts in this particular case. While in Mumbai, college students face these bizarre diktats. In Bengaluru, teachers find themselves at the receiving end in yet another bizarre circular issued by the government's Department of Higher Education. The government proposes video camera surveillance which will soon record lectures for quality assessment, and students will be consulted on how the professor should dress up for class. Take a look at this.
This order has been issued from the Department of Collegiate Education, our higher authority. Whatever they issued the circulation, I should follow that. But my personal opinion is that it cannot be taken the feedback from the students. That is not the right thing. It is our teachers' liberty to wear the decent dress. It limits to our own consciousness. We should wear some decent dress. As a teacher, we are all academicians, professors, professionals. We must wear the decent dress. For example, a lady teacher should wear a sari according to our Indian culture. Of course, they can wear the chudidar, the closed clothes of a chudidar. Instead of wearing leggings, they can wear the chudidar pant, that's all. Sari or chudidar. Only the two dresses are the decent dresses.
Also, ma'am,
and for the men teachers, they can wear the formal dress, pant and shirt, instead of wearing jeans or t-shirts.
On to another shameful act, this time from Sonbhadra of Uttar Pradesh, where a school principal of a girls' junior high school allegedly made girl students of class 8 parade in semi-nude condition. This was actually a punishment for not completing their homework. The pervert principal also threatened to circulate the pictures after the parents of the students approached the district magistrate. The principal has been suspended with immediate effect, while further investigation is still on.
और हमें संस्कृत याद करने के लिए दिया गया था, जो कि हमने नहीं याद किया, तो इसी कारण मैम ने हमारी स्कर्ट उतरवा के और पूरे ग्राउंड में घुमाया। जो
जिसकी शिकायत अभिभावकों को द्वारा की गई थी, जिसकी जांच आज की गई, तो उसमें सारी बातें खुल के आई हैं। तो तत्काल आज ही यहाँ के प्रबंधक को, संबंधित अध्यापक को निलंबित किया।
And with that, it's a wrap here on this edition of The Big Story on Magic Bricks Now. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magic Bricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.